Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Crypto Warehouse. My name is Mike, and today is the 13th of November, almost halfway through November already. It's a Monday, which means we have an entire weekend to go back over. We're going to have a look at a couple of things to do with Bitcoin. One, to do with the halving. We're going to look at the miners selling. They're selling an awful lot at the minute. That could be the reason that we keep bouncing around 37,000. We're going to look at Sol. Why is Sol up so much? It's pumped. Remember, I had my target of $50 for Sol. We've smashed that. We've broken $60 and we've retraced a little bit. We're going to have a little look at that. We're going to have a look at NEAR and whether that's something that you should be looking at buying for your portfolio. Illuvium as well in gaming. What's that going to do? Is that going to do well? Is that going to perform well? And then we have some news by FTX before we finish the show with a quiz in about 45 minutes time. We do try and stick to the schedule, but as you know, we never really do. We always overrun, but at least we have some kind of format to stick to. Now, before we get into any of that, we're going to have a quick look at the markets. It's been a little while. We have gone over $1.4 trillion in market cap. We've been at 1, we've been at 1.2, 1.25, 1.4 trillion. Incredible. Compared to where we were only a few months ago, amazing. Volume is down. Don't worry about the volume. The volume is always down over the weekend. Don't forget, Saturday and Sunday, markets are closed around the world, so people don't tend to trade until today. Bitcoin dominance, 51.1%. That's come down. That was at 53% not long ago. Ethereum dominance is on the up, 17.5%. And we're going to have a quick look at the prices. First of all, I am just going to drop some gift boxes in places. So if you are new here, we drop various different boxes throughout the stream. And if you are not watching on one of the exchanges that we trade on, I would highly suggest you look in the comments below and find some links and go and join up. Not financial advice, of course. So there's a red envelope over there. And now over here, I'm going to drop a comment to win. Good morning, Hikran. Good morning, Rick. Nice of you to join us. Thanks for coming. Okay, let's drop some boxes. And then we will get on with the show. There we go. Box drop there. Box drop there. You're most welcome, Hikran. You are most welcome. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. Okay, sorry. Let's get going then. So the boxes are now dropped. They should be there for the next 5 or 10 minutes. So what's happened in the last 24 hours? Celestia is up 30%. I was going to cover that on the show today, but I think I might make a video about it. So Celestia, I'm going to make a video about that for my channel that we have somewhere else on a very popular streaming channel. Filecoin is up, OP is up, Clayton is up, Cosmos is up, Polygon is up. We've had a few good gainers over the last 24 hours. CRO is down, but I wouldn't worry too much about that. CRO has surged 91% in the last 30 days. FTX token, I'm not going to give you financial advice on anything on this channel, but my advice on FTX is it's a token associated with an exchange that doesn't exist. And if FTX2 starts, there is nothing to say that that coin will exist on that chain. So for me, my advice is please don't buy that token. It isn't financial advice and it is my opinion, but it's a zombie coin. It shouldn't be there. Kaz is down, Render is down, Aptos is down. I mean, I'm not too bothered about these corrections. It's profit taken at the end of the day. Kronos was at 5 cents, probably beginning to middle of October. It was at 5 cents. It's gone all the way up to 11 cents. I profit took on Kronos at 9 cents. And I sold at 9 cents. That's not the end of the world for me. That's gone to 9.5 cents because I'd been stacking Chronos for the last 6 months. So I had made 100% profit on my Chronos when I sold it, which I'm very happy about. So that's pretty much it from the weekend, if you like. Now we're going to get on to the news. The first thing we're going to look at is the Bitcoin halving. Then we're going to look at the Bitcoin miners selling. And then I think we're going to take a look at the charts. Have a look at where Bitcoin is. Have a look at where we think it can go. I'm still fairly bullish, but let's check the charts just in case, because it might not happen this week, it might not happen next week, it might happen in December, we don't know. So analysts reveals how Bitcoin halving cycles could turn $5 into $130,000. There is nothing like a headline like this. Plan B suggests that participating in the Bitcoin market around halving periods could yield significant returns. According to Plan B, participating during these periods could potentially turn a $5 investment into $130,000. I am not too sure about that. Now, I do like Plan B, don't get me wrong. I follow Plan B on Twitter. He knows what he's talking about. I'm not sure that you're going to see a 2,500% return, though. Being in the market only in these 3 Bitcoin halving periods and out during the rest would have increased a $5 investment to $130,000 instead of a $37 buy and hold the blue line, he stated. So obviously he's talking historically, which is fair enough. We all know Bitcoin has gone up massively. I was buying Bitcoin at $1,000 and $3,000. So I have 35x and 10x my Bitcoin valuation, which is fine. Some people bought at $100, some people bought at $10. It doesn't matter when you get in. Everybody runs their own race. It's not super important to compare yourself with other people. So the Bitcoin halving, for those of you that don't know, that happens every 4 years. The next Bitcoin halving is potentially May next year. So that's when the next halving happens. If you're wondering why we've been through such a terrible period in the last 2 years, we have gone through the bear market. The bear market always follows Bitcoin having its blow off top, hitting its all-time high, and then the price descends for a good period of time. I think this year we've been down almost 18 months. We've been in a dip. So the bear market obviously always follows the bull market, and in this instance we've gone all the way down from 69,000 to 15,000 in a very short period of time. Bitcoin 6 months before the halving and sell 18 months after. I completely agree with this. So 18 months after the Bitcoin halving, in my position, I will be looking to sell in November 2025. So if you look at what Plan B is suggesting, 18 months after May 2024 would, I imagine, be somewhere around January 2026. But I'm not waiting that long. I'm going to start to look to sell and dollar cost average out around about November 2025. That's when I think the price could start to pump up. According to Hayes, Bitcoin has demonstrated resilience and outperformed traditional assets like the treasury bonds. We know about this. Bitcoin's price has increased 26% since the onset of this, and the treasury bonds are only up 3%. The smartest trade is going long crypto. There is nothing else that has outperformed the increase in central bank balance sheets like crypto. Very nice chart. Bitcoin has proven to outperform bonds during times of, even if there was an initial phase of weakness, I will buy the dips. I totally agree. So in terms of this article, it's a good headline to catch your attention, but it also covers off the halving, which you wanted to go into. And the Plan B chart, for those of you who have never seen it before, this is based on the stock to flow method. So basically it's supply and demand. And what we have is we have the halving every 4 years, which halves the supply of new Bitcoin being produced. That then causes a supply shock, which pushes the price up. And then the price comes up, to an equilibrium between supply and demand. That's all it really means. Now, before we look at the charts, I really want to go through the article I found about the miners. So miners are a little bit like a bungee cord. So the higher the price of Bitcoin goes, the more profit miners make on the Bitcoin that they mine. And miners see $37,000, $38,000, a good price to sell. They were producing this Bitcoin at $15,000. So they've made 2.5 times their money on it. And now I think they're looking at this as a good time to cash in and make some profits. So miners unload $175 million in Bitcoin. Again, on the grand scheme of things, that isn't a massive amount. A closely followed crypto analyst is issuing a warning saying Bitcoin just flashed a signal suggesting a sell-off event may be imminent. So Ali Martinez warns that Bitcoin's Tom DeMark sequential indicator is pointing to a possible corrective move. Let me just update the menu. Here we go. So this is to do with, was this to do with the nine consecutive green candles, I believe. I think we looked at this on Saturday when Brogan was on the show. So according to this article, 5,000 Bitcoin have been sold by miners, and this is the miners' reserves. So as you can see, the one thing to take from this is that miners still hold nearly 2 million Bitcoin. That is almost 10% of the total supply. But the miner reserve is dropping, and they have sold some off. Again, these are having minor impacts on the charts. There isn't going to be miners are not going to drop 200,000 Bitcoin onto the market, because that doesn't benefit them and it doesn't benefit anybody. Because to suppress the price, to bring it from 37 to 25,000 by dumping all their Bitcoin, it's not going to happen. They're going to DCA out the same way that you would DCA in or DCA out of any asset. So they might sell 1,000 or 5,000 Bitcoin a month moving forward. But remember, when we hit the halving event, they're only going to receive half the amount of Bitcoin that they are receiving now. So the sell pressure from miners over time gets less and less. That doesn't mean they're going to make less and less money, because the price of Bitcoin will appreciate to ensure that they always make a profit. But the amount that they can sell in terms of the number of Bitcoins they can sell will fall over time. Now, we don't need to look at Ethereum. What I want to do is, before we get too far, I want to go and have a look at the charts. And for those of you in the UK, Suella Braverman has been made redundant by Rishi Sunak this morning. I was just reading about that before we went live. So let's have a look at the Bitcoin chart, see where we are, and then crack on. Let me just make sure everything is working before we carry on. Again, so I do apologize to a couple of you that are making comments in the chat. I can't see them. There are so many spam comments in chat that I can't read them. Everybody's spamming the same boxes. Elrod, Elord, and GM Moni, you're just spamming the same box. Please don't do that. It really doesn't help anybody. Let me restart the app. Give me a second. So if you are here, make sure to drop a comment. I'm more than happy to talk to you about anything you want to talk about this morning. It is Monday. It is a nice, relaxing start to the show. I've just restarted the chat, so I should see comments coming in from now. Okay. Let me just check over here. All right, Rick, no problem. See you soon. Take care. Thanks for coming. Right then, let's have a look at the Bitcoin chart. So we have this beautiful fib level here, which we are sitting at. We've come up. I was talking all last week about us having bearish divergence on the daily, and it's kind of still there. It's not as strong as it was, but we've had bearish divergence all week. Going back into last week, this is bearish divergence. The RSI is coming down and the price has slowly been going up. So we've got bearish divergence on the daily, but we've had that all week. So we don't know if that's going to play out. Now, the bull market support band is starting to curve up and it's now touching $30,000. This is a great sign. If we take a look at the price, we've come up to this fib level and we're now sitting on it. So if I can zoom in to show you. So when we talk about coins respecting the fib levels and respecting the charts, this is what I mean. We have a couple of things that we want Bitcoin to do. We want it to get above the bull market support band. That's important. We should be bullish when it's above and bearish when it's below. But the second thing are the fib levels. Now, the fib levels for me are kind of like they basically follow patterns in the markets that we kind of follow ourselves. So we are creatures of patterns, and then because we're creatures of patterns and creatures of nature, we follow those patterns, and it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. So we can draw these charts and be fairly certain that Bitcoin is going to it's going to kind of honor those patterns. So you can see it down here. We were on this fib level for a very long time. We've come up, we broke through this fib level, and now we're on here. Now, does that mean we're going to stay here? Probably not, but it means we've found a breather. We couldn't keep going up like this. We would end up having buyer exhaustion. We'd probably come crashing back down. So it's a good thing for Bitcoin to have a breather. We need Bitcoin to rest before its next leg up. As I said on Saturday with Brogan, or Friday, I don't know what day it was. The issue that we've got is we want to see Bitcoin move up. Very similar to the chart we've looked at with Plan B. What we'd like Bitcoin to do is this. Right, that's what we'd want Bitcoin to do. And that means that we have some kind of action like this. But it's like watching Bitcoin walking up a flight of stairs. If it runs up the stairs too quickly, it's going to stop, it's going to become exhausted, it's going to fall back down again. We want Bitcoin to take each leg up and use it as support. Use the banister as support. The longer we stay at these prices like this, the more this bull market support band is going to curve up like this. And that means that when Bitcoin does have a correction, we come down and we can bounce off that bull market support band. That's what it's there for. It's like the first absolute major level of support, which is the bull market support band. So where do I think we're going to go this week? Well, first of all, I think that this target up here for me is still on the cards, and that is 40,000, which is here. So what I would like to see is Bitcoin do something like this over the next 2 or 3 weeks. In the shortish term, if I move back in, we were in, I don't know if I did this on the 4-hour chart or not, but we were in this band, which was here. Okay, that's the band I drew a few weeks ago, or maybe a week and a half ago, whenever it was. And I went through this with Brogan several times, and we were in this band, chopping up, and we've broken out of it. So I think the worst case scenario at the minute is about 35,000. We could come down to maybe 36,500, but I think we could do this. That's my kind of mini bearish position. And I think if we hold this line and we do push up, then I think we could be looking at $40,000, which is only 10% from where we are now. It's only a 10% move up. So that's my target for Bitcoin this week, 40,000. If we come down, I think 35,000 is a good price for us to come down to. And if we are a little bit more bearish, then this line here, which is the trend line that I've drawn, going all the way back to December last year, this long-term trend line for me would be the next move down, and that's currently at 33,000. So if we have a huge correction, then 33,000 is the target. But at the minute, I'm still holding on to the ETF news. BlackRock are saying they expect it to be approved in January. If it is confirmed to be approved in January, or there is some other news, then, you know, what are we, 6 or 7 weeks away? So I think we're at the point now where whatever we say about Bitcoin in terms of price action, it's pretty much number go up for me on over the longer term than any kind of short-term correction is just going to push us higher. So whether we do this or we do this or we even do this, they're all going to go in the same direction. And you don't have to be a genius to point this out. There was a really cool meme that I saw over the weekend on the internet, and it was to do with everybody is a trading genius in a bull market. And that is really true. Anybody that sits there and tells you that the prices are going to go up right now is going to look like a god, because we've come out of the bear market. So for the next 2 years, prices on the whole should just keep going up. And it's easy to sit here for me and say, you know, we're going to be at $40,000. At some point, we are going to hit $40,000. And I'll sit here and say, see, I told you we'd hit $40,000, because that's just the type of market we're in. It's a lot more difficult in a crab market to give accurate price predictions when the price isn't moving, because there's no liquidity, there's no volatility, and the price is just chugging along. And that's when you tend to find these kind of channels where the price is just locked, you know, between maybe $1,000 between the top and the bottom of the channel. You look at Link was in the same pattern for 15 months. 15 months Link stayed within the same pattern. So on the whole, I think at the minute we could be anywhere between 37.3, 36.9 is a very tight range we're in. We could break down a little bit, but on the whole, I'm still neutral to bullish on Bitcoin. It's ignored the bearish divergence. It's been ignoring it all week, so there's no point in me bringing that up again. Now we're going to move on to Solana, because Solana was one of my picks to rip, and it did, and it ripped even higher than I expected. So we're going to have a look at that. Good morning, Kishan. Thank you for coming to the stream today. Greatly appreciated. Let me drop another box. I can't see the chats today. It's just really, really annoying. Okay, let me drop another box. And then we will carry on. So for those of you on the red envelope channel, I'm going to drop another red envelope in about 6 minutes time. 11:30 after this article and the Solana charts. I'm going to drop another red envelope for you over there. So if you just bear with me, we're going to get through this. We're going to get onto Solana. As most of you are aware, if you were here on Saturday, Brogan's a huge fan of Solana. Web3 is a huge fan of Solana. Solana's price is up 40% this week due to easing FTX dump fears and growing Bitcoin ETF buzz, while the Sol USD technicals hint at more upside. So we broke $60 and we're now at whatever we are, $56, $58. My target was $50, and that was only made a week and a half ago, not even a week and a half ago. It was made when we were at $42, $43. So we've really shot up. And one of the reasons is, if we're gonna go through this a little bit. One of the reasons that people were worried about Solana was, of course, that FTX holds an awful lot of Sol tokens, and that weighed on people's minds because I think FTX ruined the reputation of Solana in the eyes of many people, and it wasn't really Solana's fault. It was Sam Bankman-Fried locked onto a couple of projects during the last bull run. One was ICP and another one was Solana, and him and Anatoly got very close, and there's potentially some market manipulation going on by FTX, which is probably going to come out in the court case. And of course FTX holds a massive amount of Sol. Okay. So FTX held 55.7 million Sol tokens, and they were allowed to sell them over a period of time by the courts. And I said at the time that it wasn't going to have a massive impact. When there is a sale volume of only $100 million, it really isn't a lot of money on the grand scheme of things. On a bad day, the crypto markets trade 26 billion. On a good day, it's 126 billion. So 100 million a week over the course of 7 days is $13 million a day, or whatever it is, $14 million a day. It's peanuts. Now, Sol's coming out the other end of this, and if you look at this chart that I see quite a lot, it shows the inflows and outflows by assets. And as you can see, Bitcoin is always going to be number one, but Solana is always up there with Ethereum. There's always Solana, there's always Ethereum. And if you look, you can see that over the year so far, there's been 109 million into Solana, 842 million into Bitcoin. So the Bitcoin ETF stuff we've already talked about, we don't need to look at that. But Solana's futures open interest reached a significant level, 772 million on November the 11th, the highest since 2021. Now, that futures is basically where you bet on the price of a token at a distant time in the future, whether it be the end of Q3, end of Q4, whatever it might be. So it's basically like betting on the price in the future. Solana was never really mentioned. It's always Bitcoin futures, it's always Ethereum futures, but Solana is starting to come up on the outside. Excuse me. We did have a breakout. I'm going to go over that again. We went over it on Saturday. I'm going to mention it again today. If the ascending triangle bottom reversal plays out, the upside target for the Sol price before the end of the year is $90. The bears, however, are trying to push it down. We don't really care about the bears. At this moment in time, a lot of bears are wrecked, and there will be corrections over the next few weeks where you might see the price of various coins drop by 15%. That's the longs and shorts. That's the longs being liquidated. The same way that when the price shoots up, that's also the shorts get liquidated at that point. So we're at $58. We're at $58. Now, if you look at the daily, it's always, I don't know what's happened to my trading view, but it keeps resetting to 1 hour and 4 hour. So I've taken a fib all the way back to the start of Solana. Now, if you look at the price, if I zoom right in, you can see that we touched this fib level at 60, what's that? That's $63. And we mentioned before about trying to honor the fib levels. We are creatures of habit, we're creatures of patterns, and we've come up and we've touched that level. Why is that important? It's important because if you have a crypto like Ethereum, for example, Ethereum is a great example. If you have a crypto that honors the charts, honors the patterns, and works within different fib levels, it makes it a lot easier for you to trade. You can know that Ethereum is going to correct to 1850, or Ethereum will go up to the next level at 2150. If you know that it honors the charts, then you can put your sell orders and buy orders and longs and shorts in position based on where it is within the charts. So a lot of people say, why did it hit this price and then stop? The reason a lot of the time is because it's either the fib levels, it's hit the end of the bearish divergence, it's in a descending triangle, it's in a bull pennant. There's lots of different reasons and indicators to tell you why. Now, this looks very similar to me to Bitcoin, and that is that we've come up and now we're having a breather. So we're having a breather. We've had a nice ascent. We've probably got some kind of ascending channel going on here, which we were stuck in. If I just correct that a little bit. And like Bitcoin, we've broken out of it and now we're sitting on top. And we've actually used it as support. So we've had this lovely channel. We've kind of wobbled around. We've come up and we're now kind of using this channel as support. So given that, I think, again, the same thing with Bitcoin. I'm bullish as long as the news doesn't change direction. So as long as that the news is positive, the markets are still flowing, people are still running the ETF, then I can see Solana pushing up. Now, he's given a target of $90, but I like to use previous targets to show you where we were. Now, one thing that was mentioned there was the FTX collapse. Now, the FTX collapse was here, okay? November last year. Look at where we were exactly 1 year to the day. We were here. We were exactly at the same price when the FTX collapse happened. 1 year later, we're at the same price, and look what's happened. We've shot up. So where do I think we're going to get to? The next target for me would probably be somewhere in this range over here. This was previous support, and that for me would be about $79 for me. This area here would be my next target for Solana if we're going to have another leg up, and that's because it was previous support. I'm not going to redraw the fib levels to try and catch all of this, but that's the next target for me on the way up. That's a possible 25% move on the way up if this happens. If it doesn't and we come back down, I mean, we've got various different levels of support on the way down. You know, Brogan spoke about this at the weekend. We've got $43, $40 to $43, $40 as well is a good level of support. So I think the moves up will be greater than the moves down at this stage in the market. So for me, Bitcoin is still a buy, Solana is still a buy. Dollar cost average in though. Don't buy everything in one go. Make sure that when you do move into the market, you allocate maybe 10% a week into the market to then catch all the dips along the way. The price is going to go up, the price is going to go down. So try and dollar cost average in. Don't YOLO in. If you've got $1,000 to buy Bitcoin, for example, buy $100 a week. And that way, if the price does come down to 30 or 33,000, you'll catch those dips. If the price does move up, you're catching an average price which will be below wherever it ends up. If Bitcoin goes to $100,000 and you've been buying at $33,000 or $37,000, the gain loss isn't that great. So you know, the question a lot of people say is, or that there's remorse in people who bought into crypto, and they want to buy at the prices that we were at in you know, the $15,000 Bitcoin. They wanted to buy the the $12 Solana. They wanted to buy the $800 Ethereum. That's gone. That's in the past. It's okay to look back, to look at patterns. It's okay to look back, to look at previous all-time highs, but it's not good to look back and regret not buying at the lows, because you don't have a magic crystal ball. You can't predict the bottom. So don't try and catch the bottom the same way you don't try and catch the top. That's why you dollar cost average in, and that is why you dollar cost average out. In 4 or 5 years' time, you could potentially have 10x your portfolio. Your $1,000 today could be worth $10,000 in 2 or 3 years' time. So don't beat yourself up that you didn't catch the $12 Solana, because you can go even further back and say, why wasn't I buying Bitcoin at $100? Why wasn't I buying Bitcoin at $1? Because those things have gone. You can't kick yourself. You can't beat yourself up for not catching the bottom of everything. That's not how you should be looking at this. You should be looking at, where are these coins going to go in the future? Because that's where you're going to make your gain. I'm just reading chat. I'm going to drop a box now. Yeah, that's what I am going to do. I did say I would. I'm a few minutes late, so I'm going to drop a box. 1 second. So when I drop this box, I'm going to have a 1 minute break, because I need to go and get my coffee that I have left. So I'm going to drop an envelope now as well for everybody over here. Good morning, Crypto Core. Good morning, Yuang. And good morning, Avukna. I am going to drop a box now. Thank you for coming. Let's make sure that works. There we go. And it's been dropped. Right, give me 1 minute to go and grab my coffee, and when we come back, we're going to look at Near Protocol. Okay, back with my coffee. Now let's have a little look at Near Protocol. Again, I'm not going to do the charts on everything that we look at on the stream. That's not what we're about. Let me go and bring the article up. So Near Protocol and the rising metaverse platform ZEP form partnership to onboard users. Make that a bit bigger so you can read it. So South Korea's leading metaverse platform ZEP announced on the 13th a partnership with the global Layer 1 platform Near Protocol and revealed plans for building on Near Protocol. So it's a blockchain optimized for large-scale user-orientated service operations, offering a user-friendly interface and stability similar to Web 2. Near has seen a rapid growth amongst Layer 1 blockchains this year, with Near-based dApps ranking first and second among all blockchain applications according to dApp Radar. So ZEP is a joint venture between mobile game developer Supercat, known for the Kingdom of Winds, and Naver Zed's operator Zepeto. They launched its beta version on November the 30th, 2021 with 13 million monthly active users. Wow. ZEP has garnered attention from domestic and international businesses and public institutions. So this is pretty big news. The gaming director of Near Protocol stated, "This collaboration with ZEP is a significant opportunity to expand the Near ecosystem into the new realm of the metaverse. We will continue to strive to expose Near users to various content in different areas. Through collaboration with dApps in the content and gaming fields based on Near, we will assist ZEP's business expansion in Web3. Now, we're not going to read all of that. Don't worry, we're running out of time. What I want to say about this is that I speak a lot about adoption on here, and we need regulation for exchanges. We need regulation for projects, platforms. We also need adoption, not just adoption from users, but chains need adoption. I've mentioned before about Blazelle. I've mentioned before about what's the platform that we talk about quite a lot on here? Gala Games. Near Protocol is the same. You need to have chains being used. You need to have utility on those chains. You need to be able to do different things on those chains. That is fundamentally important. Otherwise, you will end up with a dead zombie chain with no developers working on it, no activity, nothing going on. And over time, what will happen is the validators will turn themselves off, the coin will lose value, and those blockchains will disappear. And it's basically, we're at the stage now where it's survival of the fittest. So the more applications run on your blockchain, the better. You can look at any top 10 blockchain with utility, of course, and you can see activity. Near Protocol needs to have people using that platform. The same way Solana and Ethereum and Cardano have, Near needs to have that. It doesn't matter whether it's gamers or it's DeFi or it's NFTs, they need to have people using their platform, because the more people use the platform, the more developers want to build on it, the more the token value goes up, the more value added the blockchain has. So for me, this is great news for Near Protocol. I've never really paid Near Protocol enough attention. I've actually done a chart on this. I didn't realize I'd done a chart on this, but let's have a look at why I've done a chart on this. Oh, I know I've done a chart on this. Yeah. So we're not going to go into this in great depth, but I did want to show you one thing. And that is, again, look at the moving average and look at where Near Protocol has been. Resistance, 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 all the way down. And guess what? Near Protocol, after, what's that, about 16 months, Near Protocol has broke out of the moving average. It's moved above the moving average, but not only that, and this is important, it's broken above the moving average, it's tested it as support. So which direction is Near Protocol going to go in? We have bullish news. We've broken the moving average. We're above the moving average. We've used that moving average as support. Now, where do we think we're going to go? For me, we are potentially looking upwards. Now, where could we end up with Near Protocol? Always best to look back in time and find previous areas of resistance. So for me, this area here, which is $2.40. Now that is a 33% move for Near. So in the short term, Near could come up to this level. Again, this isn't financial advice, but when I look at charts, I try and find things that would indicate a possible move up. For me, this is one of them. So maybe a 33% move on near. Who knows? Go and have a look. Now, lastly, we've nearly done it on time today. Oh no, we haven't. We're nowhere near doing it on time. We're gonna skip over FTX today, and we're gonna go on to the quiz after this article. FTX really isn't my favorite thing to talk about, but it's in the news quite a lot, so I can kind of understand why people want to be kept up to date, but it's not really the kind of thing I want to spend my time on every week. Let me just update the menu. One second, there we go. Perfect. Now we should have it saying, there we go. Look at that, updated in real time. So Illuvium makes waves with Epic Games Store debut. Again, I don't have any charts for this, so we're going to run through the key points here. So Illuvium is an up-and-coming NFT game and is set to debut on the Epic Games Store, leading to a surge in the price of its token following the announcement. The inclusion of Illuvium on the popular PC gaming marketplace is expected to expose the game to a massive audience and boost its potential for success. Built on Ethereum's immutable X network, Illuvium offers a multi-genre fantasy action experience leveraging the power of NFTs to enhance gameplay and ownership of in-game assets. So for me, we're not going to go into too much depth on this. All I'm going to say about this is, again, we need adoption and we need people playing games. We need our blockchains to be busy and productive, and gaming for me is the standout reason that people are going to adopt crypto. Shopping, I'm not sold on the idea of shopping. I'm not sold on the idea of virtual assistants. I'm not sold on the idea of buying clothes online without being able to go and try them on. I'm a bit more old school than that. But gaming for me, there are billions of gamers in the world. And if you are going to bring people to crypto, that's how we do it. We bring gamers, we bring all kinds of gamers, whether it be MMOs, whether it be FPSs, whether it be battle royales, whether it be card games, it doesn't matter. We bring them through gaming and then we hope that they stay. Because once you get into crypto and you understand it, I don't know why you wouldn't want to use crypto. It's the future. Everything's instantaneous. And you own your assets that you've worked hard for. You own the ships, the cars, the skins. You own them. Now, I don't know why you wouldn't want to do that. And we've talked about CSGO. We've talked about Call of Duty. We've talked about that till we're blue in the face. Until we see a game with 1 million active users, then we can't say we've made it. We need to be looking at the same numbers that Fortnite gets, or Warcraft gets, or Call of Duty gets. We need to be getting to those numbers. And we're not there yet, but it's the same with the Bitcoin price. We can't rush into these things. We've tried it. The games are rubbish. The games are garbage. Nobody wants to play them. They're not fun. The token price is a race to zero, and they've been utter failures. We need Illuvium to be a success. We need some of the games that Gala Games is producing to be a success. We absolutely need Star Atlas to be a success. We need them to win, to bring people to crypto. So if that means waiting a couple of years for these AAA games to be launched, then so be it. Earth from Another Sun is another game which looks really good. I've covered Big Game on here. That looks good. So we're getting there. But even if you go back a year to when we were doing these streams, the games that were being produced a year ago, or the games that were out a year ago, compared to the games that we've got now, it's chalk and cheese. Absolutely chalk and cheese. Now, we're going to get on to the quiz. We've managed to we're only 5 minutes late. I think we deserve a round of applause. GM Sar, you're welcome. Hikran, you're welcome. Let's now get on with the quiz. which is the next one down. Now, for those of you not watching on an exchange, what I'm going to do now is we are going to end the stream for some of you. Some of you are still going to be here. I'm going to end the stream. So before you do go, thanks for coming. Thanks for watching us live. We stream every day. We're back tomorrow at 11 o'clock Central European time. Make sure you smash the like button, give us a follow, and subscribe to the channel. So I'm now going to turn that one off. For the rest of you, don't go anywhere.